Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Monday Mindshift. I'm flying solo today because Suniti let me know that she's not feeling well. So she has the day off. So I'd love to have anyone who's watching, if you're willing to jump on stage with me and have a discussion about our topic today, which is decision making, how to trust yourself more. I will definitely welcome you. So let me put that link on the screen and in the chat or the comments. So I'm Sean Michael, the Inner Potential Activator. I work with entrepreneurs, founders, leaders, and coaches to help them unlock their hidden or forgotten potential through a variety of ways and working with you and finding out what it is you want. And that's a good start because that's, today's topic is decision making, right? So often we delay decisions because we're looking for certainty. We're trained, we're conditioned to wait until it feels right. But the truth is most of our big decisions, they never will feel right. Clarity is not the first goal. Commitment is. Commitment of making a decision, of cutting off one of the options. I love to look at the root of the word decision. It's similar to incision and other words with that scission, which means to cut off. So decision means to cut off one of the options, not to sit and vacillate between the two. And I'll be the first to admit this is not something that has been easy in my life. I bought into the certainty trap. So I have a quote for you, and that is: indecision is just fear in a lab coat pretending to be logical. So, what are we really afraid of? Often it's the unknown. It's I'm not sure. What if I make this decision and it doesn't come out the way that I think it will or that I want it to? I heard another quote recently that powerful people and leaders, they don't strive to make the right decision. They strive to make decisions right. And that hit deep for me because it's so true, right? If we wait to make the right decision and we try to weigh all the options, often we get stuck in that analysis paralysis, don't we? Where we're weighing all the options and trying to decide, and I don't know, I'm got mixed feelings, and we're wishy-washy. Where if we just focused on choosing a path and making the decision and do it in the right way, not trying to make the right decision. Sometimes we're going to make decisions and it's going to go wrong. That's the way life works, right? Sometimes you make a decision and it didn't work. So we learn to pivot. We learn to adapt. Now, the reality is your body knows the right decision way before your brain catches up. It's a logic game. Trusting yourself, self-trust is not a logic game. It's a gut check. It's about tuning into our intuition and overriding that overthinking. So, how do we tune into our intuition? we've got to shut off the noise, first of all, right? We've got to be able to listen to our deep inner voice, to spend some quiet time, which in today's world is something a lot of us are not giving our space for. So, how do you use quiet time to listen to your intuition? You know, are you listening? Are you paying attention to that inner voice that's telling you, choose this, don't choose that, right? It's a key in learning to trust ourselves. It's less about learning something new and more about remembering how to listen, right? As I said, get quiet. It Your intuition doesn't yell usually. It usually whispers. But if your attention's all on notifications and others people's opinions and all your thoughts about this and that, it gets really hard to hear it. So one of the ways I give myself space to hear my intuition is at least a 5-minute quiet zone in my day. No music, no phone, no multitasking, none of that. By myself, alone, in quiet. And then I ask myself a question and pause. I don't try to analyze it. I don't try to force it. I just listen to what comes up. Another way that we can hear our intuition is, as I said, your body. Listen, feel the sensation. If you're feeling heavy and contracted and tight, or are you feeling open and light and like a big sigh of relief? Listen to that. That's your body telling you. That's your intuition speaking to you. Are you paying attention? And another thing is we don't need to start with the big decisions, those major life-changing decisions like should I take a new job, should I quit my job, should I start a business? Start with simple decisions, right? That have very little investment. Do I want coffee or tea? Should I go home by the scenic route? Am I feeling aligned with this person's energy or is it off? Right? And just listen for these simple, low stakes responses from your intuition. Stop asking for advice, right? Our intuition gets weaker when we're always asking for somebody else's opinion. So next time you've got a decision, ask yourself, what do I already know deep down inside? Learning to trust yourself and act on those feelings. Don't wait for somebody's permission. Make your own decisions. As I said, the right decision, it's a myth. So we got to stop chasing it. There's no right choice. There's a decision that we commit to and we work through it. We grow. Right? Instead of looking at like yes, no, good, bad, what if we reframe that every decision works in my favor or it teaches me something? Right? Look for the lessons. If it didn't go as you expected, as you wanted, what's the lesson there? Right? And listen, give yourself the quiet space to hear that inner voice guiding you, helping you make the right decision. Or no, sorry. the decision right. So I have a question. Where in your life are you waiting for certainty that, if you're honest with yourself, you know it isn't coming? I'd love to hear your responses in the chat, in the comments, if you're watching the replay. And if you're watching the replay, drop a hashtag replay so I can tell who was live and who is catching the replay, because the truth is, this new system, this Restream, third-party tools to LinkedIn, I don't even know who might be watching because it doesn't communicate unless I see comments. So I'd love to hear from you. What is a decision in your life? Where in your life are you waiting for that certainty, trying to make the right decision? Where deep down you know in your gut, at your deepest level, that it's not coming. That certainty won't come. So waiting for it is just wasting your time, right? You could just make the decision and grow from it. So that leads to my next question. What's a decision, pardon me, you've been putting off that it already feels right? Like, this is the decision you should make deep in your soul, in your being. What is that decision? Think about it. Take time. Give yourself some quiet space to answer this, right? What is a decision I've been putting off that deep inside I know it's the one I should take? It feels right. It feels good. It feels like the thing I should do. Now, part of the title was about self-trust. How do we build self-trust? How do we learn to trust ourselves more? The truth is, it's action. Only action will help you learn to trust yourself more. Not overanalyzing, not checking all the boxes. It won't give you that trust. You will only earn your own trust by showing up for yourself. Right? So my question is here, where are you outsourcing your decisions? Because for whatever reason, you've gotten to a point where you don't trust your own wisdom. You don't trust yourself. Because that's where it is. You got to learn to trust yourself. You're an amazing being. And, the sooner we accept it, then we can make the decisions we need to make. Pete says, how do I know it's the right time? As I said, Pete, if you didn't catch it, I don't know if you caught it or not. Give yourself the quiet space and ask, like, is this the right decision and the right timing? And then just pause and listen to the thoughts that come up, the feelings in your body. And go from there. Because your inner wisdom, it probably knows the right answer. It's when we get up in our higher level mind that tends to cloud our judgment. Once you've consulted your inner voice, your intuition, if you need to, you can still go for advice, but we should start with our own self. It can be hard. Sometimes we just have to make the decision, right? We have to commit, like, okay, this is my decision. I'm going to see it through. It's not easy. I won't tell you it's easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. But I promise you, you will see the most growth in making that decision. And just be ready to, adapt, to be flexible. Just like a pilot, when they take off from an airport, they're constantly monitoring, they make corrections a little along the way, because even autopilot, if they didn't adjust, think of it like this way. If you left Miami and you didn't make little corrections on the way to Houston, you'd probably end up in Chicago, because little mistakes or little diversions along the way, at a longer distance, it's much bigger. And I heard something once, Pete. I actually saw this. So it was a speech, and somebody was trying to make a decision, and the speaker said, "Do you have a coin? If you can't make the decision, you're not sure, take out a coin, flip it and cover it." And then the speaker asked, "Okay, which do you hope it is?" And the person who flipped the coin, they said, "Well, I hope it's heads," which was decision A. It's like, okay, you have your decision, right? Trust your heart, trust your gut, because you know what you want. Sometimes they're just clouded by the conditioning, the noise of the world. As I said, it's about learning to trust ourselves in smaller, less impactful decisions, so that when the bigger decisions come, we can be prepared. Right? Don't look for confidence before the decision. You know, true confidence comes from taking the action. Clarity comes from taking the action to do this, make the decision, see the result, adapt, and then the next time we have a similar decision, we're better prepared and we're more confident about making the decision. And the reality is the longer we wait, the louder the fear gets. Indecision isn't like Indecision is a decision, right? It wears us down. It creates friction and self-doubt and emotional leakage, staying stuck, waiting to make the decision, to be confident, to be sure about the decision has a cost. And fear loves the loop. So when we're looping around, trying to figure it out, fear just thrives and grows and gets scarier and scarier and scarier, so that it gets harder and harder to make a decision. But the fix is take a step. It doesn't have to be a big step. I've got somebody coming up. Pete. Hello, Pete.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to meet you. Thanks for jumping on stage.
Thank you. Sorry, my dogs were getting a little bit antsy.
Sounds like sounds like small dog, big attitude. All right. Well, we lost Pete there. He's got to deal with those dogs. Here's the truth. We don't need more information to make the decision. We just need more self-trust. Trust that we can make a decision that will be right for us for this moment. Trust that I have the capability to pivot if I need to. Right? We already know, most of us know what we want to do. We're often just afraid to claim it. And here's two simple questions that we can ask when we're in this decision mode. Ask yourself, what would I choose if I knew confidently that I could handle the outcome? Whatever happens when I make this decision, I know I could handle it. Or if I knew I could handle it, then what would you choose? And this question, what if there is no perfect choice? Just the one that you commit to and will grow through, right? Analysis paralysis, information overload. It's just a fancy name for a comfortable name for avoidance, right? Why are we avoiding the decision? What are we afraid of? Really? What are we afraid of? Additionally, if we're constantly running our decisions through the lens of who we were, we can't grow into who we're supposed to be, who we're meant to be, right? We get stuck in these decisions because we're looking at the past. We're saying, well, when I made that decision before, this is where it led, and that was kind of yucky, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to feel that again. We can't lead into the next level of our life by looking in the rearview mirror all the time. Just like you can't drive a car, yeah, you got to look at the rearview mirror occasionally, but you have to look ahead where you're going, right? And self-trust is about not waiting for everyone to agree with you before you make that move. And here's an interesting, often intuition, it almost seems too simple, too quiet. Whereas overthinking gets chaotic and we start to feel more confused the longer we sit for it. We start justifying. We try to negotiate with fear. All the time, we're not making the decision that we want to make. We are deciding, but we're not deciding on that decision. And the truth is when you make the right decision, it's not going to be all fanfare and bells and whistles and excitement. It's often like, oh, that was the right choice for me at this time, right? It's just relief. So a lot of my work is about updating our identity, right? We look at behavior, the way we behave when we struggle with decisions or maintaining a good habit or getting rid of bad habits. But behavior is the surface level. When we go down to the identity level, to truly change that, it changes everything. It's like, the roots of a plant. If you're not getting the healthy fruit, you got to dig back into, is the right nutrition in the soil? Is it getting enough water, et cetera, et cetera? Is the drainage? So start telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who makes aligned decisions and adapts quickly. This starts to reprogram our identity. Like, I can make a decision that's aligned with who I am, who I want to be, where I want to go in life. And if the decision doesn't come out the way I want, I can adapt quickly. You see, self-trust isn't knowing the outcome. It's knowing you can handle whatever the outcome is. Now, here's another fact. Avoiding the decision is often a higher cost than the wrong choice. We hesitate to make a decision because we're afraid. What if I make the wrong choice? Then what? The other question is if you make the wrong choice, what does that mean to you? What does it mean about you? What story are we telling ourselves? Like, oh, I can't ever make the right decision. We got to stop that because we're just programming ourselves to continue. Instead of being afraid of the wrong move, look at what is the cost of staying stuck? The cost in time and energy and your confidence and your opportunities. What opportunities are you missing by not making a decision, by getting stuck? Right? You can redirect a wrong decision, but a stuck car doesn't move. Just like a stuck decision gets us nowhere. If we stumble, we can recover. If we don't move, we're in trouble. Yes, definitely. It is about taking responsibility for the things we've done. We can't just gloss over and ignore it, but we don't stay focused and stuck in the past, Pinker. Right? We've got to learn, we've got to grow, we've got to change from bad habits. And the other key thing I've learned in my journey is we can't just eliminate a bad habit. We have to, because if we just take the bad habit out, we leave an empty space. And our person, our inner being, our inner self hates an empty space, our mind, our conscious. So if we don't put a positive, empowering habit in there, those negative habits, those bad habits will come back. And they'll usually be worse than they were in the first place. I've seen it with people recovering from interesting question, Pinker Familiar. Flamingo, sorry. I'm curious what you like beating ourselves up over it. If it's not helping us change and grow, taking responsibility is ownership, right? Like, okay, that was a mistake. This was a bad habit, and in that bad habit, I've made bad choices, but we don't punish ourselves over and over and over. Take responsibility, fix what can be fixed, and then we can move on and grow, right? It's own it, a change, and grow and get better, right? 1% every day is all it takes, is get better at 1% every day, right? It doesn't have to be over and above. Like, we don't make this huge. The Titanic couldn't turn on a dime. They couldn't turn fast enough to get around that iceberg. Forgiveness it's a self thing. It's not about the other person. Forgiveness is, right? Of course, we make amends and we look to get forgiveness for our mistakes, but forgiving ourselves is more about realizing we made a mistake and we've worked to improve it. We learned from it. We're not going to make the same mistake again. And they may never forgive us. My brother hasn't talked to me in 15 plus years. So do I keep beating myself up? That doesn't help me. Do I try to make reconnection? Yeah, but in the end, his forgiveness has to come, if he forgives me or he doesn't, I can't control that, right? I can't make them forgive me. Yeah, that is, self-forgiveness is real. That's a deep question. right? But it's the core. You have to forgive yourself. You messed up. You commit to fixing it, not letting it happen again, acknowledging that, okay, it happened. I did certain things or I didn't do certain things, but how do I want to move forward? Beating yourself up says, I messed up. I'm a mess up. I failed. I'm a failure. I did something shameful, so I'm shamed. Right? It's asking beating ourselves up. I shouldn't have done that. That was crazy, Pete. Like you had a Cujo thing going on there or something. I don't know exactly why, Pinker Flamingo, because he won't talk to me. He won't even give me the time of day. I'm sure it's something in our past, and I've worked through my childhood and everything and abuse that I suffered from family members, from non-family members, and the mistakes I've made, because I'm human. We all do dumb stuff. It's about reflecting. What have I learned? What am I going to do differently? It's reflecting over reliving. If I'm looking at myself saying, am I reliving the mistake? This is where I messed up. Let me feel bad for that for the gajillionth time. Right? Responsibility says, I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen or that it didn't matter, but I won't let it define me forever. I personally can say I've done things I am not proud of, but I'm not going to stay in shame. I want to become somebody that I can be proud of. I want to become somebody my 7-year-old son can be proud of. That he can, live his life and say, my dad's a pretty cool dude and he taught me a lot. And, he made his mistakes and he was honest about his mistakes and he learned and he grew from those. That's what I want. That's the legacy. I can't change the past, but I can build the future that I want to be proud of. I can build the future that will create a better future, a legacy that will live on. Right? Going back to the forgiving ourselves, Pinker Flamingo. It shows you care, and it shows that we're not the same person who caused the harm, and we can't erase the pain. All we can do is own the truth, honor the effects, and make a choice daily to not live in self-condemnation. Right? I did it. I hurt them. I own it. We don't earn redemption by staying broken. We earn it by being better, making the right, better decisions today. Growing. Forgiveness from others, it's not a right, it's their choice. And we respect that. It might take years. It might not look the way we think it should. It might not ever come. But growth, healing within ourselves, that's our responsibility. And we're the only ones that can do that. Right? We have to let go of I'm sorry and change it to okay, this is what I did. This is the effect I believe it had. And this is what I'm doing or I've done to change, to be a better person. Honor the pain, honor the hurt. And we also have to look at forgiveness isn't a destination, it's a process. It's something that it's like muscles, right? Forgiving ourselves is a practice that we do regularly. We stop defining ourselves by that low point or our lowest point. We learn to take ownership without hating ourselves, without just beating ourselves up, and to live today in alignment with who we are becoming. We turn the past from a sentence into fuel. We can mentor someone. We can share our truth. We can write a letter to that person. Maybe we send it, maybe we don't. I've done a practice where you write a letter to the person. I wrote a letter to my father. He's dead. I can't give him a letter. Sent a letter, had a burning ceremony so I could release it. Everything that was in that letter. It was a powerful act. Right? We can turn the guilt we're feeling into a way to serve and help others. There's where we find redemption. Right? Tell ourselves, they may never forgive me, but I refuse to wallow in guilt forever. I will live my life in a manner that honors their pain, their hurt, and looks to redeem that moment, that I can bring some growth or healing to the world, to myself, to the people I interact with. The fact that you even ask this question means you've already started on the path. That we care. I'll be honest, I screwed up a long time ago. And every time I go live, I'm worried about people that don't forgive me coming in here and trolling me. But I'm not going to live in that past because the past is gone. And that is not who I am today. People make decisions based on things they see without going to the source to find out all the details. My mistake haunts me every day because every time I go online, every time I decide to travel somewhere, the effects still ring. But I won't live there. I forgave myself. I took responsibility. I did the things I needed to do to heal, to grow, and I'm still doing them every day. And I'm trying to, I'm not trying. I don't even like to use the word trying. My goal every day is to share with others. That's why I do these lives. That's why I have my podcast, is because there's a lot of hurt in the world. And hurt people hurt people. Usually, if we've hurt someone, it's because someone hurt us. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not. But that's the reality. It's a chain that goes on and on and on until somebody says, stop. That's it. I'm not letting this continue. I will stop it today. My mistake, not only am I not punishing myself because I get enough punishment from other places, I am not letting it define me. I'm not letting it. Not only have I learned to forgive myself, I've actually learned to be grateful for that mistake. And that was powerful. I can sit here and say to anybody who's watching, that mistake saved my life. I would not be talking to you people today. I would not have a son today. I don't know where I'd be. I don't want to know where I'd be. I just know where I am today, and I know where I'm going. And that's where I'm living my life. And that's where I encourage you to live, is don't let our past define us. Don't let our past be the filter for making decisions, other than that we learned lessons from the past to make wiser choices, to move ahead carefully, but take the step. Just like a small child, when they're first learning to walk, they take that first step and they probably fall down. Do they give up? Nope. They get back up. So we have to get back up. One of my favorite sayings from the Japanese is Nana korobi ya oki, which says fall 7 times, get up 8. Right? Failure is not falling down. It's staying down. It's staying trapped in the old and not moving ahead and growing into the new to become what we're meant to be, to share a message with the world. Every one of us has a message. There's somebody out there waiting to hear our message, who our voice, our story will change their trajectory, usually in a positive way. And that's my hope every day. Every time I speak, is that I can make a positive impact in someone's life, that I can speak life into another, especially in this very, very broken world today. Thank you, everyone, for your time, your questions, your comments. Have an awesome week. Own your past, own your mistakes, own your hurts that you've caused. Acknowledge and honor the effects, but we don't live in them. We pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off, we learn from it, and we make a better choice today. Tomorrow's a new day, and we get to make another chance, another decision again. Thank you all. May you be blessed and have an amazing life. Take care.